Hi friends, welcome back to another Bluebird Art Studios drawing video. My name is Miss Emma and today we are going to be doing an oil pastel squirrel. For this project, you'll need your selection of oil pastel crayons, a pencil, and a pen. We'll begin with our paper vertical, and we're going to start by sketching out a circle a little bit up and to the left of the center of our paper. As I darken the circle, we are going to give it a bit of an odd shape because this is going to be the head of the squirrel, so it's going to have a pointy bottom left corner for the nose. Then, to create the ear, we'll do an almost candy corn shape and add the tip of another behind it. We will then sketch out the circle of the eye and the nose right under that before moving on to the body. Keep an eye on what I'm doing here because the body is going to be an interesting shape, almost like a large bean. After we're done with that, we'll do a swoop for the arm of the squirrel. To create the illusion of fingers, we'll do squared off semicircles that overlap each other, and then of course behind this, a little acorn for him to eat. I then finished off the hand and erased the overlapping line of the body. After this, go a little bit down and to the right of the arm and add a circle for his leg. Down from this again, we'll create the ankle and then the line for the foot. We'll create the toes in the same way that we did the fingers, just with squared off circles, and then pull that back towards his body. After you're done with this, navigate to the top of the back there, and we'll start creating that curve for the tail. The tail is almost as big as the body itself, so make it extra poofy. Now we're just going to go ahead and erase any of those overlapping lines, including the one that separates the head and the body, and I added in a little bit more details on those ears to make them look more realistic. Now we're going to grab our pen and create the eye. So I'm going to start by blocking off the highlight by creating a little bean-like circle and then coloring in around that circle. Now we can begin with the actual oil pastels. I started blocking out the area where I wanted the peach color, which is going to be the highlight of a lot of the places on the squirrel. I did the jaw, the ear, the arm, the leg, and then the feet. I'm also using this shade to do the exterior of the tail. I used the direction of my lines to fan out and create the illusion of hair on this tail. After this, I'm going to very carefully circle the eye with my lighter color. I didn't want the stomach to be pure peach, but I did want it to have some of that tone in there, so I started lightly sketching over this area with the peach pastel. Now moving on to our brown, we can start blocking out the areas that we want to be a little bit darker. I began with the face, the ears, and the body. Where the brown color gets closer to the peach color, I make sure to go a little bit lighter so we can blend it nicely later on. As I color in the arm, I'm very careful around the fingers. Those can be a little bit tricky. And then I go back in with the peach and start blending the peach and the brown together. We're going to use the same peach color to do the outlines of the fingers as well. Then just color in the neck and then blend the brown from the body with the light colors of the stomach with the peach pastel. I used the white pastel to continue lightening and blending on the stomach before going back in with the peach and continuing to blend everything else. Now we're going to use our black oil pastel to add in some of those shadows. I begin with the tail. Again, you can use the type of strokes you do to make it look more like hair like I did here. I'm also adding in some shadows to the leg, the ankle, the arm, the neck, and the feet. When you're done with this, you can pick back up the brown pastel and start blending that together. Once again, I'm using these hair-like strokes to kind of block out and blend the brown into the tail. And if you notice, you can very carefully create the illusion of hair by going a little bit outside the lines like I'm doing here. After this, I'm just continuing to blend that shadow together with the brown pastel. This is the nice thing about oil pastels. You can use a lot of layers if you'd like to. I darkened the tips of the ears a little bit for some contrast, and then lightly colored the acorn with black so I can go back in with brown and create that nice, deep, darker brown. Now the last step for the tail is just to go back in with that peach and kind of blend together some of those more rough lines. I'm also using this to blend on the ear and the feet a little bit more before switching back to that brown and doing a little bit more work on the stomach. I decided I wanted to darken it by doing a lighter layer of the brown over it before blending back in with that peach color one more time. Lastly, we're going to use the same technique we used on the tail to add the hair texture to the back and the head of the squirrel. After this step, we are all done. Thank you for drawing with us today at Bluebird Art Studios. I hope you would forget to like, subscribe, and share your artwork with us. We'd love to see it. Keep creating, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends!